Church and the Sandpoint Junior Academy 8th grade graduation. I would like to point out also that we have invited some guest homeschool graduates to join us for this celebration. We would like to specifically welcome them as well. If you are a visitor to this church, I want to let you know that we have our weekly Bible-focused worship services here every Saturday morning, starting with small group Bible study at 9:30 and divine worship service at 11. I'd love to invite you all to attend. We have excellent children's programming too. So thank you for being here to support our graduates and lift them up as they move from this phase into the next phase of their lives and schooling. After the ceremony, you are invited to stay for a reception and light refreshments in our fellowship hall back here and to my right. Now I'd like to invite you all to stand while Jerry Philman comes up for the invocation.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, thank you so very much for the opportunity we have together to be here for our 8th grade graduates. Thank you so very much for the family and friends that are here tonight to support and to show their support for their accomplishments and their progress in life. Thank you for this huge milestone in their lives. Thank you for every family member and friend that's been a part of that progress and seeing them grow spiritually. As a teacher, it's so much fun to see their growth and seeing them love you more and more. Thank you again for this opportunity, Lord, and help you bless this evening. In thy name, amen.
You may be seated.
Good evening, and thank you for all being here. First of all, I want to thank all the staff and the teachers of SJA for making this whole year fun and full of new experiences. I especially want to thank my family and Mr. Lee for never giving up on me. But most important, I want to thank my mom for waking up early in the morning to take me to school and staying up late helping me with homework. If it weren't because of her, I wouldn't be here. Thank you all for coming, and I hope you have a great summer.
When I first came to SJA, I was scared and worried. What if the other kids don't like me? What if I made a bad impression about myself? As all of those worries were swirling through my head, I took my first step into my new school. And when I took that step, the first thing I saw was a sign that said, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me," Philippians 4:13. I had never been so moved by a single verse. It felt as though all of the worry and nervousness I was feeling just disappeared, and I knew that God was walking with me. Through my 3 years of attending SJA, I have made many friends, and there are many people I would like to thank. So I will start with my parents. Mom and Dad, I would like to thank you for always dropping me off and picking me up from school, and Dad, I would like to especially thank you for always making sure that me and Mom got to our places on time. Next, I would like to thank Mr. Philman and Mrs. Ponce. Even though I was never in your class, I can tell by the way you care for your students that I would have loved to have been in it. Mr. Lee, you have been my teacher for 3 years, and I want to say thank you for your persistence and your willingness to want to teach me. You always made me want to learn and grow. Finally, I would like to take a moment to thank God. He has not just worked through me or just worked through our 8th grade graduates, but through every single student at SJA, and he has truly changed my life for the better. I am sad to leave, but I'm happy to know that we all have grown so much. May God be with us all.
Ladies and gentlemen, teachers, parents, and fellow graduates, today as we celebrate our 8th grade graduation, I stand before you with immense gratitude and a full heart. This journey has been made memorable and successful not just because of my efforts, but due to the incredible support and guidance I have received along the way. First and foremost, I want to thank my mom and stepdad, Blake. You both have always been there for me, cheering me on, encouraging me, and supporting me in everything I do. Your unwavering belief in me has been my greatest motivation, and I'm so thankful for everything you have done to help me reach this milestone. To my dad, thank you for always being ready to help whenever I need it. Your support and readiness to assist have been a steady anchor in my life. I also want to extend my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Philman. Your patience and kindness have made a world of difference in my learning experience. You have always been there to guide me, making sure I understand and grow. Mrs. Ponce, your dedication in helping me learn and grow has been truly inspiring. You've pushed me to reach new heights and have always believed in my potential. Thank you for everything you've done to help me succeed. And a special thanks to Mr. Lee, who's played a pivotal role in my spiritual journey with God. I wouldn't be here without you. My connection with God has grown so much during my 8 years at Sandpoint Junior Academy, and your guidance has been instrumental in that growth. Thank you, Mr. Lee, for all you have done for me. To my friends and classmates, thank you for making school interesting and, well, fun. The memories we've created together will always hold a special place in my heart. We've shared laughs, challenges, and triumphs, and I'm grateful for each one of you. And finally, thank you to Sandpoint Junior Academy. This school has been more than just a place of learning. It has been a second home where I've grown academically, spiritually, and personally. I wouldn't be who I am today without all the experiences and lessons I've gained here. As we move forward into the next chapter of our lives, I carry with me the love, support, and lessons from all of you. Thank you, everyone, for being part of this incredible journey.
Hello, so my name's Tommy, and I've been going to this school for the past 8 years, and through all those years, I have faced some challenges, but they've been blessings, and I'm super grateful to this school. And I'm also very grateful to the whole church for being there for me, and if it weren't for you guys, the school wouldn't be there for me to go to. So I'm very grateful to the whole church. I also want to thank my parents for being there for me and for always encouraging me. And I'd also like to thank Mrs. Ponce for being there, and I had you when I first started, and it was really sad when I moved forward to 5th grade, and I'm just very grateful to everything you've done for me. I'd also like to thank Mr. Philman. When he came, I was kind of bossy. I told him what to do, and I probably deserved a thwack on the head, but I didn't get one, so thank you. And I'd also like to thank Mr. Lee. Out of all the teachers, I was probably the hardest on him. And I'm sorry, but I just want to thank you for being very patient with me, and yeah. And I'd also like to thank Mrs. Wall. Without you, we wouldn't have music and drama and choir, and you've played a big role in my music life and helped me appreciate music more, and I'm very grateful for that. I'd like to thank Miss Debbie as well for everything she's done, helping me with art and helping me grow in that way. And I'd also like to thank Miss Featherston. I know she's not here, but she was a great teacher, and I really miss her, so I'm very grateful to her. And I'd also just like to thank all the subs and people who have come to help with either reading, like Miss Odette, which I really missed her when she left, and just everybody who's come to help and be supportive. And I'm just grateful to all of you. Thank you.
I'd like to start my remarks by handing it off to somebody else. I'd like to invite Brent Featherston, who is representing Upper Columbia Academy and Foundation One, to congratulate our graduates and present any scholarships that he may have for them.
Good evening. Thank you for the chance to be up here. As you said, I'm here on behalf of Foundation One and Upper Columbia Academy. I was asked to be here to present some scholarships for what we hope are students at Upper Columbia Academy next year. Let me just say a word or two about Foundation One if you're not familiar. For the past 20 years, Foundation One has been functioning as an endowment with its purpose of supporting and making affordable Adventist education at Upper Columbia Academy. So that has been its mission. It has been there for the purpose of assisting Upper Columbia Academy. If you're not familiar with Upper Columbia Academy, it is a wonderful educational institution for high school, boarding, or day academy. It has been our pleasure as a Foundation One board member to be able to pass out scholarships each year. This past year and this coming year, we're presenting Foundation One grants and awards from 12 of our 20 named scholarships for those who have applied, fit the criteria, and were chosen from among the applicants. Our desire is to help change the perception that families cannot afford to send their students to UCA. Let me read that one more time. Our desire is to change that perception that you cannot afford to send your students to UCA. There are many options for financial help. Foundation One is one of those, and it has one that has been making it possible for a lot of students to attend each year for the last 20 years at Upper Columbia Academy. If you know someone who is wanting to attend UCA, please let them know that Foundation is here. Foundation One is there to help them and to provide them financial assistance. I will be happy to talk to you and provide you a contact number if you're looking in the near future to put your student at Upper Columbia Academy. I can put you in touch with either our executive director at Foundation One or the finance vice president at UCA. Now, enough talking. Now hand out some money, right? That's what I'm here for. So I have several scholarships here that we'd like to hand out, and I'll just go through them one at a time. We have a scholarship for $250 to Hayden Meek. If you'd come up, Hayden. I have a scholarship, and forgive me if I've mispronounced, Milana Corcio? Corcio, I tried. And I'm probably going to mispronounce this too. I have a $250 certificate for scholarship for Noemi Carmona. I also have a scholarship for somebody who I've known for quite a few years as well. We have a $250 certificate of scholarship for Tommy Moon. I know that I see just 4 students here, but I have a 5th envelope. This is a scholarship for Ethan Shearer, also for $250. Ethan, if you're here. So I understand tonight that there are a number of graduates who are being celebrated for 8th grade graduation who are either homeschooling or in some other programs. I want to encourage you as well, even though I've not mentioned your name, it may not be that we were aware of your graduation tonight, to acknowledge that graduation and perhaps hand out a scholarship. But as I said before, we are anxious to try to make that opportunity available to you as a potential student at Upper Columbia Academy. Thank you.
Thank you, Brent. In the last 2 years, I have gotten to see the graduating class grow by 100% each year. That's pretty exciting. From 1 to 2, and now to 4. It has been an amazing experience, and I am so glad to have gotten to know this class over the last few years. This class has got quite some history. Two of its members have been students at SJA since first grade. A third came the same year I did, and the fourth was brand new to the school this year. So I want to start with Noemi. Noemi, when I first heard you were going to be coming to SJA this year, I was excited. I didn't know you very well. I had had a few interactions with your family at various times and various places. I had come to your sister Adassa's birthday party at Round Lake and chatted with your mom and dad and even eaten some of your aunts, I think it were your aunts' pupusas. Phenomenal, really good. Delicious. But I didn't really know you. I didn't really get to chat with you or talk with you that much. Well, it didn't take very long. I discovered quite quickly that you have quite the adept skill for talking. I knew that you were going to have no problems integrating socially. As the year went on, I discovered you have a lot of other skills and talents as well. Your ballet skills led you to flexibility challenges with other students on the swings. Just watching you all do the splits put me in a little bit of pain. I think I did try to do the splits once, and, well, I didn't get very far. When we were stretching in PE, I'm pretty sure none of the stretches actually worked for you. You just were sitting there like pancaked on the floor in kind of awkward positions, and I was just like, I don't know how to get you to stretch because you're very bendy. But I also found you to be quite a creative person, whether drawing or doodling or writing poetry or knitting. Knitting has been the recent one that has made it into my classroom. You always had some sort of project going on, and I love, love, love your creative expression. I think the biggest challenge I had with you all year was convincing you that you are intelligent, that you have the capabilities to learn and grow and succeed. I don't think I ever did convince you that you are smart, but I have seen it. When you put the time and effort into things, you are successful. It was always such a joy to me to be able to hand back assignments that you had done well on and to see the look of surprise and joy on your face when you realize that you can do it. As you move into the high school grades, I want you to know that you can and will succeed. Put the effort into your work. Don't procrastinate. I can't wait to see what comes out of your efforts. Milana, you came to the school the same year I did, just a couple of months later. And as you stepped into a new school, as you mentioned in your thanks, getting to know people and figuring out and learning a new environment, as you were doing all that, I was also navigating a new environment. I was just learning how to teach 5th through 8th grade. When you first came, I saw a lot of uncertainty in you, as you mentioned. I knew you had the skills and abilities that would lead to, you were not the most confident person, and even though I was also learning the job, I knew you had the skills and abilities that would lead to growing your confidence. As I got to know you more, I discovered that you have a deep need to please people who are in authority and to make them proud. Well, I can say that you have definitely made me proud over the last 3 years that I have taught you. Your desire and drive to be the best that you can be is an admirable trait. You're constantly trying to better yourself, trying to get that perfect score, trying to go above and beyond. I don't know if you're just trying to do that for me or your parents, or if that has fully transferred into simply an innate desire to grow yourself, but those traits are going to take you far. If there's anybody I could see doing the next big thing, it's you. And I have something here for you. Hold on, I got to make sure I pull out the right one. Yes, okay. So this girl has tried so hard all year to get straight A's. I mean, that has just been, she's been pushing and pushing and pushing. And if there's anybody that deserves recognition for that, it's you, Milana. So I have an honor roll medallion here for you. in recognition of your efforts and your success at getting straight A's. One of the things I was so impressed with this year was Milana's creative writing ability. When I first gave the assignment to write a story, she was not excited about it. I gave some direction, but largely left it up to the students to create a story based on one of the narrative structures that I presented to them. I had mentioned that when you write, it's a good idea to try writing in the style of an author that you enjoy reading. This year, I don't know how many books Milana read. Have you counted them up? 30 or 40? Okay, she's read a lot. It was an insane amount. And it was so fun to connect with her on books and stories and authors. I was able to read 2 of the books that she recommended this year. I have a third one sitting on my desk. I told her I'm going to have to get it back to her this summer because I just don't have time to read it right now. But anyway, she started writing on a topic and in a style that was somewhat related to a book that she was reading. And it didn't take long for her, for it to begin to morph into what would become a really great story. I literally cried as I read it. The descriptive writing and the experience her main character lived in the story were powerful. And she found it, I think, to be a joyful experience. Powerful. Milana, when I think of you, powerful is a wonderful descriptor. You have always had a fierceness to you. I'm serious, like, don't scare her because she takes karate and she might just mess you up. So, but you have, aside from your fierceness, you have a power to influence people for good. You are incredibly independent, but what has been most powerful to me is watching your spiritual journey. I have seen and heard you ask incredible questions, search the Bible for yourself, come to church on your own. That's something you just don't see typically in a 14-year-old. If you keep that up and trust in God to lead and guide you, you will live a powerful life and be a powerful witness to those around you. I'm excited to see how you use your influence. Now, Hayden and Tommy. I will talk about each one of you individually, but I want to start off with you together. Long before I came into your lives, you had been together. I don't know if you knew each other beforehand, but you have known each other for at least 8 years now, as you have both gone up through the grades together here at SJA. That is a pretty awesome feat to be at the same school from the beginning to the end. And to commemorate such a special accomplishment, I have put together these medals for you. I have one for each of you. They say Sandpoint Junior Academy 8-year student Tommy Moon and 8-year student Hayden Meek. Now, Hayden, it has been so fun to see you grow over the last 3 years. You have always been more of the quiet type, but that hasn't stopped you from developing into an incredible leader. And especially this year, it has been a joy to see your confidence grow to the point that you are willing to try new things and put your best foot forward. I know soccer has been a great catalyst for your growth, as he's written about it in his essays. And I'm so glad to see that it has given you confidence to give your best and to try new things. Hayden doesn't get hot under the collar very easily, at least not at school. I can't speak for home. But every situation that I have seen him in, he has always held this calm, cool, collected headspace. He is such a go-with-the-flow person, it is sometimes difficult to get a strong opinion out of him. Because of that, Hayden, you have probably gone overlooked many times, even in my classroom, and if that's the case, I apologize. But I want to tell you, Hayden, that having an easygoing attitude is a great thing. I also want to encourage you to stand up for yourself and stand up for others for what is right. You have the ability to command attention. You really do, and I think people respect you. Earlier this year in history, my class was split up into smaller groups, and we were discussing the early settlement of America. We were asking questions about how the early settlers set up their forms of government when there was nothing firmly established yet. As we got to discussing representative forms of government, I don't remember the exact situation that came up, but it was a question that I posed to the class about whom they would trust to represent them. Almost without hesitation and unanimously, the class looked at and pointed at Hayden. That is a pretty cool gift, to be given the trust of your entire class. Hayden, as you go to UCA next year, I hope and pray that you will have the opportunity to continue to grow, especially in your leadership. Keep seeking God and His ways, and He will lead you to be an incredible influence for His kingdom. I'm thrilled for your opportunities. Come back and let me know how your year is going. I would love to find out what your experience is like and what successes you have. Last and certainly not least, we have Tommy. I've been mulling over in my mind time and again what I could or should say to you, Tommy, or about you. I'm sure she's somewhat dreading this moment because you see, over the last 3 years, she has given me a lot of ammunition to tell embarrassing stories. And the funny thing is, when she gets embarrassed, her face turns as red as a tomato. Kind of waiting for it now. We've had many moments, haven't we, Tommy? I could probably stand up here for an hour just talking about and telling stories about here, but fear not, I will not do that. When I first came, I knew it was going to take a special kind of effort to win Tommy over, and now I'm just now understanding. She said it here that she probably gave me the hardest time of any teacher. So, yeah, that's it. She was skeptical of this new teacher in her life, but I think when she discovered that I have stories, she began to warm up to me. Then when I kicked her butt at Capture the Flag, we started a friendly rivalry that has gone on through the years over various platforms. She's gotten a lot better at playing games. In fact, there is one game that I still cannot seem to beat her at. This girl can fly off a swing like nobody's business. She flies through the air with the greatest of ease. There were multiple times when we were competing where I would make it as far as or just beyond her jump. I'd beat her out by maybe an inch or so. And she would just look at it, smile, give her a little smirk and a little shrug, get on the swing, and destroy me once again. I'm not talking about an inch. I'm talking like 4 to 6 inches. She's like, "Oh, Mr. Lee, that's cute. Let me show you how it's done." And then she would just fly, and I would just say, "How do you do it? I don't know." Nothing like a little humility to bring this teacher back down to earth. It's one of those beatdowns where I just look at it and realize there's no way I can win, so I'm just going to stop trying. And yet I come back time and time again trying to beat her. Earlier I mentioned that Tommy has given me a lot of ammunition that I could use to embarrass her, but you know what? That's the kind of amazing girl that she is. The fact that she's willing to trust me with that is all the motivation I need to hold on to those stories and not take advantage of that trust. Tommy, I hope that over the years you have come to know that I'm in your corner. And while I may say or do things that you dislike or disagree with, you can know that I will always do my best to support you, give you good advice and direction in life. I remember when you got baptized and you mentioned that I played a role in your decision. That was such a special moment to me. Thank you for allowing me in and giving me a chance to be an influence on you. Tommy, from your 6th grade year to your 8th grade year, I've really enjoyed seeing your academic growth. You've become a great writer, mathematician, despite the fact that you don't seem to like it. You're really good at it. And all-around successful academic. I have no doubt that you will be at the top of the pack as you continue into high school. But it's not just that. You have also shown that you can hold your own in music, drama, athletics, and more. You have a natural talent for just about anything you put your mind to. Determined. That's what you are. Anything you want to do in life, you will do well. And I want to encourage you to choose good things for your life because of your determination, you will be successful. And I'm proud of you. Oh, there's one more thing, Tommy. What, did you think I'd let you off the hook that easily? I've got something for you. You see, her 6th grade year, I made a promise to her, a promise that I have not fulfilled yet. When I told her that I had a mullet when I was younger, she made me promise to show her a picture. Well, I made that same promise to Serendipity. Serendipity, I saw you here, right? Yeah, okay, all right. Well, that promise was that when I found the picture, I would show it to her. I did not find the picture year after year. Granted, I wasn't really looking very hard. But, as many of you know, I just moved. And when you move, you discover things that have gone missing or into hiding. So, Tommy, here you go. Promise fulfilled. Add the braces on there, it makes it even better. We'll just leave that up for a few minutes just so that you can have your moment. This class has been such a joy to get to know over the years. Some common themes that I would use to describe them is determination and influence. You guys as individuals and as a whole class have determination to do the things that you want to do and to do them well. You also have strong influence on those around you. The younger students look up to you. Don't take that for granted. Remember to lead by example, and most importantly, put God first in your lives. You are entering into a challenging time in your lives, but you know what? It's going to be a breeze. I know you will be successful. Thank you for your influence on my life and the many stories I will take with me. I'm really going to miss you in my class.
Wow, cannot say how proud I am of each one of those of you who are graduating from elementary school and moving into high school. What a huge accomplishment. And it does my heart good to just see our SJA students who are marking this incredible accomplishment in their life today, sharing this with the homeschool and other 8th grade students who are also marking the same joy and experience of being able to reach this milestone in your life. So congratulations for your accomplishment. Today marks one of the first major milestones, you graduating from elementary school and moving into high school. Think about the great accomplishment God has given to you on this day. It represents more than half your life, 9 years of learning, and you finally made it. Congratulations. Now, at this stage, you can look ahead and see many more milestones yet to conquer. In 4 short years, you will be at another graduation, your high school graduation. And in just 8 years from today, many will be marching in a college graduation. I'm sorry, parents, but it's true. But graduations aren't the only thing that mark achievement. There are other huge milestones that represent success in your life. Your baptism, your wedding, each of your future children, your first car, your first house, your first tax payment to the IRS, the day you pay your own rent. You've got a lot to look forward to and many milestones ahead. So as we celebrate what God has done in your life in this graduation, we also look ahead to the next chapter of your life, high school and beyond. And as you look ahead, it's normal to feel a bit of everything: excitement, nervousness, curiosity, much like Milana, you felt when you first came to SJA. I mean, just a bundle of emotions. And as you enter into the next step in your future, the future may seem like a mystery bag, full of both dreams and uncertainties, or maybe you're one of those 8th grade graduates that has your life all planned out. Any of you kind of have an idea of what you think the next 4 years are going to look like? Any of you? Yeah? All right. You know what you want, where you want to go. I want to begin by painting the picture of life for you. And the picture of life, hold on, I got it right over here. You know what your life looks like in the future? You just don't know. And this is the truth. The truth is that as we move into the future, no matter what age you're at or what milestone you've hit, you have the greatest idea of what your future is going to look like. But the only one who really knows what's going to happen in your future is God. And that's because He's the one with the paintbrush. He's the one who has been guiding and painting your life all along. When you were born, did you think to yourself, someday I will go to SJA? You just didn't know, did you? But the day arrived where you went to SJA. There is going to come a point in your life, probably many points in your life, that are going to completely catch you off guard. And I just want to start off with that picture in your mind that you don't know the future. I want to lay down some principles. Since you and I don't know the future, I want to lay down some principles to future-proof your life. And so the title of my commencement address is How to Future-Proof Your Life. You ready? Okay. Principle number 1. No matter how chaotic your life turns out in the future, or how organized your life turns out in the future, never forget that God has always had a plan. It's not just left up to you to decide what you're going to do with your life. God has a plan. Now we can subvert God's plan and say, I want my own plan. But if you are willing to seek God, He has a plan for you. He has a plan for your schooling. He has a plan for your future family. He has a plan for where He wants you to live. He has a plan for every portion of your life. And if you are willing to put God at the very center of your life and seek Him for what His plan is for your life, you will find this blank page filled in with the most beautiful painting that you could have ever imagined. I always said God's plans are better than our plans. Amen? God has a plan so much better than your plans. I mean, maybe you look into your future and you say, I know exactly what I want to do. Drew, do you know exactly what you want to do? You have a rough idea. Do you know exactly what you want to do? In your future? Any? But God knows exactly what is going to turn out best for your life. He knows what is going to provide you the greatest amount of happiness. He knows just the person to put with you. And oftentimes, God puts the things in our life that are going to bring us challenges, because He knows that only through challenges will we grow. So the first thing I want you to do in future-proofing your life is making sure that you have in your mind with every decision that God has a plan, and I'm going to seek for God's plan first so that His plan can work out in my life. Jeremiah 29:11 says, God says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." And another thing is that you may not know the future, but God does. Isaiah 46:9-10 says, "I am God and there is none like me, declaring the end from the what? From the beginning." Meaning the day you were born, He knew what would happen in your life in the future. Now, it just makes sense if you're launching into uncharted territory that you have someone who knows the waterways to get you where you need to go. Why wouldn't you trust your life into His hands? Why wouldn't you seek Him for advice and wisdom and the treasury of knowledge He has? How many of you have gone rafting before? How many of you 8th graders have gone rafting before? 0. I did not expect that. See? We don't know the future. Well, if you've never gone rafting before, it is an experience. And I grew up in southern Oregon, and there we had what is called the Rogue River. And the Rogue River is it's something that kind of represents your life ahead. You have peaceful areas, you have rough areas, danger zones when you've got to give it all you have just to make it through. And if you're rafting in a group, you get to enjoy it all with friends. But on the Rogue River, there are hidden dangers that only someone who knows what's ahead can warn you about. There are times when the river splits in two, and you don't know whether to take the right or the left split unless someone who knows the river tells you about it. You know what I should have done? I should have come up with an illustration talking about skiing on Schweitzer. How many of you have skied on Schweitzer? Okay, there we go. Okay, so you're skiing down Schweitzer. Do you remember the first time you went down a black diamond? Oh, yeah. Is there a microphone that I could hold? I can't control my legs. They just lead me all over. So you go down that black diamond, and the first time you go down it, you want to go down it with somebody who's gone down it before you. In fact, you kind of want them a little bit ahead of you so that you see them hit the drifts that you don't see or go around whatever things. You want somebody leading the way who's done it before. Well, there was a time in my life where it was the first time I had ever been rafting before. There was also a time where it was the first time I had ever been skiing before, but I was rafting. Can you guess how old I was? My mother was pregnant with me. When she fell in the water, that was my first baptism. Anyways, we were going down the Rogue River, and underneath the waters of the Rogue River, there are all sorts of dangers, logs, boulders, things that you can't see. You really want a guide to go down the river with you. My father and mother were going down the river together, first time down the Rogue River, and they didn't know that around this particular bend, there was an underwater log that was creating a back current, that when you get your boat near it, it kind of stalls the boat and sucks it up. So they got to this underwater log, and it flipped their raft. Mom and me were okay. But Dad got sucked under the log, and the power of the river held him under that log. And he nearly drowned. He told me later, good news, he didn't drown. He told me later that as he was being held under that log, he was thinking to himself, I may never see my son. I may never get to grow up to see any of my children. And he began praying while he was under that log, praying to the one who knew not only where that log was, but every other pitfall on the journey of that river. And he said while he was praying, something pushed him out from underneath that log, and he was able to pop up out of the river, get a gasp of air, and swim away from that hidden danger. There are so many hidden dangers in life that you and I don't know about. And if we try to go it alone, it's as if we're skiing down a double black diamond with no instructor or no guide and no idea of what's ahead. We need God in our life. As you move from elementary school to high school, make sure that you put God first in your life, and make sure that you seek Him for guidance and wisdom and direction, even with the small things. Proverbs 3 verse 6 says, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths. Principle number 2, follow what is clear. Don't just follow your heart. There was a student in college, that's going to be 5 years from now for you guys, if you decide to go to college. There was a student in college, and she came to her professor with a big question on her mind. She just didn't know if the person she was dating there in college was the one she should spend the rest of her life with. And so she went to her professor. Professor, I need some advice. Please, you've studied so much. Can you tell me if the person that I'm dating is the person I should spend the rest of my life with? Now I got to pause here, because I did question in my mind if I should even bring up this story, because now is not the time where you need to be thinking about that. There will come a time, and maybe that's college, where you start thinking about who will I spend the rest of my life with. But there's a point to this story. She said, Professor, what should I do? What should I do? And the professor, as only a professor could do, leaned back in his chair and said, I've got the answer for you. Here's what you need to do. And he asked her this question: is there anything in your life that you're not doing that you know that you should be doing? And she began thinking in her mind, and she said, well, I haven't really been spending much time in prayer, and I know I should pray. I haven't been spending much time reading the Bible, and I know I should be reading the Bible. Yeah, I guess there's things that I know I should be doing that I'm not doing. And he said, I'm going to make this promise to you. Do the things that you know you should do, and the things that you're unsure about will be made clear. Well, how in the world is that going to solve this? So she left, and a week or two later, she comes back to the professor, beaming from ear to ear. She said, I got my answer. I got my answer. He says, well, what's the answer? She said, I broke up with him. And he said, well, how did you know? She said, well, I went home and I began thinking about what you said. Focus on what is clear, and then what is unclear will become clear. And as I focused on the things that were clear to me, I knew I needed to spend time in my Bible. I knew I needed to pray. I knew I needed to focus on my studies in ways I hadn't been focusing on them. And you know, as I began spending time with the Lord, it suddenly dawned on me, this guy doesn't make God his focus in his life. And she said it was like a light bulb went on. Instantly I knew that this was not the person that I should spend the rest of my life with. And this works this way in your life. There are going to be many things that the devil will bring into your life and say, should you do this? Should you do that? And you're not really clear about it. take a step back away from the things that you're unclear on and focus on the things that you are clear on, and it will become more clear. Matthew chapter 6, verse 33 says, "Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." Okay, I got a third principle for you, and I'm going to use our blank piece of paper. And it's a principle that you should have learned in school. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. Here's the equation. What is 1 plus 1? Yeah. Okay, 2. Okay, good. Wrong. I can't believe you haven't learned this yet. Well, before you go into high school, and certainly before college, you need to learn what 1 plus 1 is. I'm going to write it out for you to help you. One plus how many ones are there? 2. Good job. How many ones are there? 2. 1 plus 1 equals 11. I'm serious. Isn't that right? I shouldn't have asked the principal. 1 plus 1 equals 11. Look it. There's 2 ones on this side, and there's 2 ones on this side. 1 plus 1 equals 11. And I make that ridiculous statement because we all know 1 plus 1 equals 2. But 1 plus 1 equals 11 because I want you to realize that when you choose to rely on other people or you choose to rely on God, your potential for success is exponential. We think that if I put all my strength in and someone else puts all their strength in, all you can ever get is double, right? You have a jar of olives and another jar of olives. All you can get is a jar worth 2 jars of olives. But it doesn't work that way in life. Oftentimes in life, 1 plus 1 can actually equal multiple more. 1 plus 1 can equal 11. And I mention this because this is how many people down through time, including those who have walked with the Lord, have discovered true success. Ecclesiastes put it this way: though one may be overpowered by another, 2 can withstand him, and a 3-fold cord is not quickly broken. The principle is that you need others in your journey towards success to be even more successful than you could ever be alone. Don't think in your mind that I've got to accomplish this all on my own. There are many, many people in your life journey who want to help you. And if you allow them to help you, if you allow them into your life journey, and specifically if you allow God into your life journey, you're going to have an exponential amount of success. 1 plus 1 equals what? Very good, 11. Yeah, he's smiling. He got his approval. The last thing I want to share with you before we end is a final Bible verse here in Ephesians. And we've got a gift for you with the armor of God. And it's Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 11. It says, "Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day. And having done all to stand, stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace, above all taking the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all power and supplication in the Spirit, being watchful to this end. It is God who will make you successful, and I pray that as you continue forward with this in this journey into high school and perhaps college and beyond, that each one of you will be not only filled with God's Spirit, but clothed with the armor of God, that you would face every battle in His strength. And remember, whatever you're facing, whatever challenge that lies up ahead, remember that verse that you quoted earlier, Milana. Can we say it together? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And this will future-proof your life.
These are the medallions that we're giving out, and just as a clarification, there were a couple that we were shorted on that are going to be on their way. So if you don't get one tonight, it's coming, okay? So there will be two of you that will just have to wait to get yours, but here they are. All right. Here we are at the presentation of diplomas. I want to invite Mrs. Ponce and Mr. Philman, and he didn't realize this, but I'm going to call him up now, Board Chair Jeremy Calkins, if you guys would be willing to come on up here, have a little receiving line for our graduates as they come through. You can shake their hands and congratulate them, give them hugs, whatever you need to do as I invite them. Thank you. All right, board members, teachers, family, and friends, this year's 8th grade class has successfully completed the necessary requirements for graduation from the 8th grade and is recommended for advancement to the 9th grade. And so now I would like to present these diplomas. The first one to Noemi Lila Carmona. The next one, Milana Marie Gercio. Hayden Daniel Meek. Tommy Jean Moon. At this point, I'm going to invite SJ 8th grade graduates to come down here onto the front pew. We've got a short slideshow that your parents have contributed toward of you guys, and so we'll have fun taking a look at a few pictures of you guys. When we're finished with that, you guys can remain seated down there, and I'll tell you when to come back up.
The wind is moving, but I am standing still. A life of pages waiting to be filled. A heart that's hopeful, a head that's full of dreams. But this becoming is harder than it seems. Feels like I'm looking for a reason, roaming through the night to find my place in this world, my place in this world. Not a lot to lean on, I need your light to help me find my place in this world, my place in this world. If there are millions down on their knees among the many, can you still hear me? Hear me asking, where do I belong? Is there a vision that I can call my own? Show me. I'm looking for a reason, roaming through the night to find my place in this world, my place in this world. Not a lot to lean on, I need your light to help me find my place in this world, my place in this Looking for a reason, roaming through the night to find my place in this world, my place in this world. Not a lot to lean on, I need your light to help me find my place in this world, my place in this world. Looking for a reason, roaming through the night to find my place in this world, my place in this world. Not a lot to lean on, I need your light to help me find my place in this world, my place in this world.
Ever since coming to SJA, I felt a sense of family at the school. Getting to know these students and their families has created a community that I cherish. But our family actually extends outside of the school walls. Our church has been such a support financially, in volunteer hours, in other donations, and an encouragement to me and the other teachers. The ministry of SJA could not and would not run if it weren't for our church. So the SJA board has invited the homeschooling 8th graders to be recognized for their accomplishments as a thanks for the blessing of the church's support. So at this time, I'd like to recognize our guest graduates from the church who have completed homeschool programs. Each of these students has had some involvement with SJ in the past. Some attended the school for a time, others participated in classes as part-time students, and others connected with us through our ski program. I will call up each graduate individually to be recognized, and they will be presented with their certificates and awards by their parent or parents. So as I call your student up, parents, please join us on stage. Ashley Brown. Emmy Brown. Next up, Selah Brunke. Lucas Ispirescu. Drew Isa. Levi Rojic. Ethan Shearer. And Kai Straw. Now, if the SJA graduates would please come and join us on stage, just remain standing. I want to just say on behalf of SJA and the Seventh-day Adventist Church here, congratulations to all of our graduates on your accomplishments. We look forward to seeing the next steps in your life. And now I would like to introduce to you the Sandpoint Junior Academy 8th grade class of 2025. Aubrey Abbott and Kyan Welton. We can't wait to see you follow in the footsteps of this year's graduates. And now I would like to ask all of you to stand for the benediction and then remain in place for the recessional.
Let's bow our heads. Gracious Heavenly Father, we celebrate the accomplishments of each one of these students, and we thank you, Lord, for leading and guiding them. We know from your word, wisdom comes from you, and you have given them wisdom. And I pray, Lord, that you would bless them and their families as they continue to their next part of their journey. And now, Lord, we thank you for this graduation, and I pray that you would continue to lead and guide each one. And we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.